Greetings and welcome to this episode of Touhou Character Introduction. Today, we're going to be discussing the mischievous shapeshifter, Mamizou Futatsuiwa. Mamizou first appeared as the extra stage boss in Touhou 13, 10 Desires, where she was requested to come into Gensokyo by Nue in order to help the yokai fight back against the newly revived Prince Satoku, who desired yokai extermination. She later appeared in the spin-offs and more importantly the mangas, where she is a frequently recurring character. She is a Baketanuki yokai that managed to live in the outside world until recently moving into Maioren Temple. Personality-wise, she appears as a kind-hearted and friendly person, willing to lend an ear and help out others, be they yokai or human. This trait, in addition to her shapeshifting, made it very easy for her to blend into human society. Furthermore, she is also a bit mischievous as she likes tricking people. But that's to be expected. I mean, she's a shapeshifter. You cannot have a shapeshifter not be somewhat cheeky. Moreover, she shows quite a lot of pride in her race, but that also leads to her being hostile towards another type of yokai, the Kitsune, since they act as rivals to the Tanuki. Lastly, she has lived for about a millennia, making her a very wise and experienced person that has also assumed a lot of boomer energy. In terms of powers, she is capable of freely altering the appearance of not only herself, but of other entities as well, like objects or even people. While disguised by this ability, the object will take on at least some of the physical traits of its new form. However, if the disguised and the original entities are not compatible, the transformation will end almost immediately, particularly when it comes to living creatures. Her ability also seems to have the limitation of not altering the original smell, and being unable to completely remove a tanuki's tail and ears, though it can alter their proportions. In addition, she is also one of the few people capable of crossing the Great Hakuri barrier, but her method of doing so is, as of yet, unknown. Lastly, and I know this is just a small weakness in the grand scheme of things, but she's always wearing glasses and is sometimes seen to be squinting, so it would be fair to assume that she's nearsighted. When it comes to relationships, we have to start with Nue. As previously mentioned, they are friends and Mamizou only moved to Gensokyo because of her request. Also, since she's now living in Maioren Temple, she should be acquainted with the rest of its inhabitants, though she hasn't really interacted with them all that much. Afterwards, we have the bookseller, Kosuzu. The two met when Mamizou started regularly visiting her shop, and by the end of Forbidden Scrollery, they became relatively close, and Mamizou even got a bit protective of her. While on the topic of human friendships, Mamizou also apparently hangs out with Sumereko in the outside world. So there's that. Another noteworthy relationship is the one she has with Miyoi. Originally, she acted quite harshly against her, even threatening that she'd reveal Miyoi's identity as a yokai to get her to leave the village. But in reality, that was nothing more than a ruse she made up along with Suika in order to get Miyoi to keep the bar open at nights for yokai. Speaking of which, Suika and Mamizou seem to be friends, and more specifically, drinking buddies, hence their whole scheme in Lotus Eaters. Lastly, though this is less of an individual and more of a species relationship, when Mamizou learned that Aya was using her newspaper in order to manipulate the human village in the favor of the Tengu, she decided to fight back by spreading fairy tales, showcasing the cooperation between humans and Tanuki, thus leading to a rivalry for influence over the human village. Mamizou is a relatively popular character within the fanbase, which makes sense considering the amount of appearances she's made over the years. However, she also ticks a small minority of people off the wrong way, which is actually great, because it means that she's being written as intended, since she's supposed to be a character that always has hidden intentions behind her actions. With that said, if you enjoy this type of content, then by all means, check out the video currently on your screen, subscribe for more, and leave a comment telling me which character you'd like to see next in the series. Have a good one!